Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the Voices of Tomorrow, the podcast where the voices, perspectives, and experience of young people take center stage. As you know, in this series, we engage the meaningful conversation with the students, young leaders, and innovators who are shaping the future. From discussing pressing global issues to sharing the personal stories of growth and resilience, our guests will inspire the challenges and motivate you. So, welcome and join us as we explore today the ideas, passion, and dreams of the next generation with our next guest. Let's amplify the voices that will shape tomorrow. Today, we are blessed to have Sayyida Vania Ali as our guest in the podcast Voices of Tomorrow from Nurul Huda Falcons. She is a passionate BBA honors student currently studying in IOBM University. So, formally, we welcome you, Sayyida Vania Ali from Nurul Huda Falcons. She is also an youth ambassador of Nurul Huda Falcons. I would like to invite Vania Ali. Please introduce yourself. Over to you, Vania.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Sayyida Bani Ali. I'll start with a brief introduction about myself. I am currently in my junior year and pursuing majors in marketing. And if I talk about myself as a person, so I am an extroverted nerd who's very talkative and she wants to use her words for bringing a good and a positive change into the community by empowering others, by uplifting others, and most importantly, by spreading kindness and empathy. Because this is what leadership is all about. And you have to start with that one step that you have to take yourself, and then eventually it creates endless ripples into the puddle of kindness. And I really look forward to growing academically as well as the knowledge that I have seeked over the years of my university life and academic background. I look forward it to apply it practically and bring a better change in the community.
Thank you so much, Manya, having you on the podcast from Nurul Huda Falcons as Voices of Tomorrow. Yes, and you are the true example of Voices of Tomorrow, as I know long before years to you. So my first question is this: that what does actually empowerment means to you as a youth?
For me, empowerment is about having confidence, having a voice, because empowerment starts with the fact that my voice matters. I need to speak up. It can be in any way. I'm not just talking about a big scale, but it can even be on a small scale. It can even be your own classroom. Just as when your opinions are being seeked, many of the students silence themselves by saying that even if we look forward or say something, our opinion doesn't matter. हम जो कहेंगे उससे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? It does matter. You need to recognize your worth yourself first. You don't need to wait for the fact कि कोई और आके आपको realize कराए कि yes, your voice matters and this can bring a change. You need to understand and recognize your potential and your worth first. You need to step up for what you want and bring a positive change. This is what empowerment is about, but with empathy and kindness, and most importantly, with teamwork and proper collaboration. This is what empowerment is about, and not just for yourself, but also your surrounding community. Just as we can see, most importantly, in Aurat March, that we can see as all feminists unite together for not just themselves, but all their sisters in the community.
Yes, very true. Here, I just want to ask one more thing about the empowerment, the meaning of empowerment, which you actually perceive as a youth. Then, what is the connection of leadership with the empowerment? First, you have to be empowered and then uh, go for the leadership, or first, you have to the guts to be a leader and then you can get the empowerment.
Well, in that regard, Definitely, you should have the guts and the qualities of being a good leader first. Because when you are a leader, most people, they want to bring a change. They might also have a voice, but they do not know what type of leadership style to adopt to bring a change. Because this is also very important. There is no single leadership style. There are many leadership styles that we need to act upon in different communities to bring a different change. When you have those good leadership skills, then eventually you have the potential to bring a change. You have the power, you have the strength, and most importantly, when you have that good intention of being a good leader, then definitely you have Almighty's blessings and mercy as well to bring a change.
Of course. Uh, you were talking about the confidence to have the empowerment. Do you think that the youth must learn about and they need to learn about the difference between a thin line between the confidence and the overconfidence?
Definitely, because these days, majority of the youth are lacking in confidence. As we know, social anxiety is not a new terminology. Many people also believe in this quote that the fear of public speaking is greater than the fear of death. People refuse to speak up, and when it comes upon confidence, so people have associated with this thing that if you are confident, so you can do anything, or just because you have one quality, that does not mean that you can be overconfident and that you can achieve anything. And I'm particularly talking about in the negative way. Even if we connect leadership with this, so being confident does not mean that you can lead in any way. Your leadership style also needs to be intact with your audience, because then what is the difference between a leader and a boss? That's where
Yes.
confidence plays a great role.
It means you have to be empowered in your particular area or a particular niche in which you will get the empowerment first, and then you will get to know about the leadership, then how you can lead in that particular area. Otherwise you will try to become a jack of all and lead to everyone everywhere in every fields. So this is the thing that I think youth को ये चीज समझने की जरूरत है कि first they have to empower themselves with respect to the characteristics. They have to understand the leadership style, but they have to get the knowledge and the empowerment in a one particular area by all means, not only by educating themselves through the degrees and from their educational institutions, but definitely they have to learn about the leadership styles. They have to learn about the leadership skills as well as the characteristics जो कि एक लीडर में होनी चाहिए. So यहाँ पर दूसरा सवाल मेरा ये है कि what is the most significant challenge you have faced in your personal or professional or the academic life, and how did you overcome it with respect to this empowerment and leadership, because you are in now in the higher education and in the universities. So what are the most significant challenge related to the empowerment and the leadership?
One of the most significant challenges that I would say that when you start your university, the biggest thing that hits you with is that you see that there is a lot of diversity. And when there is diversity, there are different opinions, there are different conclusions. You might think that this person who is in your group or in your class holds on to the same conclusion, but there is a difference. And at that point, it is very important to show good leadership skills. Because, for example, you are a group leader, but your XYZ group mate doesn't agree upon the same idea that you pitch for your business proposal or for your business idea or for the project, and that's where the real conflict starts. So being a good leader, this is something that I have faced, because even in my scenario, in my class, there are seniors also, there are juniors also, and also my own batchmates as well. At that point,
Yes.
it is very important to listen to them. Being a good leader does not only mean that you are supposed to hold the mic the entire time, you're also supposed to listen to them, value their opinion, collaborate together. Like even the differences that you have, make it special, because that's an innovation, that's an inflow of ideas. This is very important. When being a good leader, you should not like have this, which many people these days have, that we want to be a leader just because we want to exert power. This should not be done. Leadership is not about exerting power, it is rather leading with a purpose than leading with pressure. This is what's important. You need to be a leader that even if there are introverts in your groups, they still look forward to speaking up and sharing their idea. That's when you are a
Yes.
successful leader. A leader should be the one that your group mates can reach upon you without any hesitancy and feel that there is equality and there is no hierarchy system. This is what a good leader should initiate, and this is one of the things that many students struggle with at university. But rather than focusing on the fact that we should work on our leadership and teamwork, they prefer changing groups. That's what the youth these days dwells in.
Yes, because I have seen in so many cases, then जब एक project दिया जाता है और universities में ज़्यादातर project based learning पे इस वक्त focus किया जा रहा है, that is not only the completing that project, the purpose behind it is actually to develop the leadership skills as well as empowering the others in your group or in your project, rather to make a chaos or without any making any hierarchy and without a flow of work in that thing. उनका सिर्फ शायद पर्पस ये होता है कि किसी भी तरह we should get the grades and we should get the highest
Yes.
marks, और वो प्रोजेक्ट सबसे ज्यादा बेस्ट होना चाहिए। और मेरा एक्सपीरियंस जो
Yeah.
मैंने इस वक्त देखा है यूथ में, कि उसकी वजह से वो बहुत ज्यादा जो है एक नेगेटिव इम्पैक्ट आता जा रहा है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड लर्निंग। और उसमें फिर इस तरह से भी होता है कि उनके काफी बिहेवियरल इश्यूज भी होते हुए मैंने
True.
देखे। दे वांट टू लीव और चेंज द ग्रुप just because of all these things of having that group leader behavior, और अगर कोई hierarchy नहीं है या कोई एक flow of work पहले से planning नहीं की गई है, तो just because of that thing I think कि student ये सब चीजें बहुत ज्यादा face कर रहे हैं। So I just want to know as a youth from your side that what is your need from your adults or from your teachers regarding this challenge to solve it amicably.
The very first thing that as a youth that I would require from my peers, my teachers and adults is that firstly, we need to think beyond the generational gap. That is eventually, like obviously our elders are going to be millennials and we are Gen Z. So there is a difference in between. So we can adopt their policies as well, their practices as well, after making some amendments according to our style and our preferences. But at the same time, it is not necessary to follow the same rules that they have been following, because every year there is an evolution of generations. For example, if we Gen Z, we are a challenging generation. When we see that they, okay, things are not working accordingly, it's not that we are indisciplined, but we tend to like challenge our leaders or question our leaders, most importantly in a respectful way. Similarly, we need to like request our adults, and something that our adults and elders should also be learning upon the fact is that they need to guide rather than instructing. There is a difference between guiding and instructing. When you are guiding, despite being an adult, you come upon the same level as your students, and there is a peace and harmony. And most importantly, there is an informal yet comfortable conversation. On the other hand, when you are instructing, so the students, especially our generation, we feel like that this is a very strict teacher student bond, which resembles more like a employee and its boss who's very strict. This is what our teachers and our adults need to learn accordingly.
Okay, Vanya, as a youth, I just want to know that what is your opinion about the word mentor? Because as a youth, I think you must understand what is the word and what is the meaning of mentor, and why youth need the mentorship with respect to the character building, with respect to the empowerment, and with respect to development of the leadership skills in themselves. So, what is your understanding about the word of mentor? Who is the mentor for the youth today, or who can be?
the mentor for our youth is someone who we can look beyond the, we could say, that public profile that is made, or that time that we spend. That I would explain it in the form of the difference between a coach and a mentor. A coach is just a coach who is teaching us on field, but a mentor goes beyond that by teaching us about our personal life and how to actually improve. These days, we youth actually want mentors to come up to our level and also try to understand us as well. Like, it is very easy for any person who has achieved everything and is way ahead of us to come and teach us that, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. But we youth also want an individual who can actually explain upon our situation. As we talked about the generational gap earlier, that how things are different for the millennials and for the Gen Z. A mentor for the youth would be someone who can explain without exerting further pressure, and most importantly, for once making the youth feel that life is not a race. Somebody who can explain throughout the journey of how they were able to achieve it when they were of our age. This is something that we really look forward to, and this is how we can also better achieve, because we are you today, we are also going to reach upon their phase one day, and we have to actually learn about how this entire journey goes about and how the evolution occurs accordingly. So that's what a mentor is for me. And a mentor, like if I talk about myself, is someone who is like a guiding star and a ray in the tunnel of darkness for you. This is a
Yes.
mentor.
सो क्या ये कहना सही है कि आजकल जो हम एक दौर देखते हैं कि जैसे आपने ज़िक्र किया जेन ज़ी के हवाले से, आजकल एक उस्ताद होना जो है, वो एक मल्टीपल रोल है। एंड आजकल जो उस्ताद हैं, वो कोच ज़्यादा हैं, बट दे नीड टू लर्न टू बिकम अ मेंटर फॉर द जेन ज़ी एज़ वेल एंड द अपकमिंग जनरेशन डेफिनिटली। बिकॉज़ आई थिंक कि मैं समझती हूँ कि जब जो दौर हमारा था या हमारे टीचर्स जो थे, उस वक़्त हम इतना ज़्यादा ये सब टर्मिनोलॉजीज़ को नहीं समझते थे या हमें उतनी अवेयरनेस नहीं थी या इतनी फ़ैमिलियरिटी नहीं थी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द मेंटरशिप एंड द कोच। बट आई थिंक कि हमारी पर्सनैलिटी में आज जो भी कुछ है या हम इतने डेवलप्ड हैं विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स, with respect to the leadership qualities is just because our teacher are not only the coach, they are mentor as well. What do you think about that, that teachers should not only be the coach, they should behave like a mentor, or they should be a mentor? What do you think about it?
I strongly believe that teachers definitely need to explain through being a mentor, because like they do follow that rigid rule, like for teaching in the style of a coach, because obviously we have this in our mind that if teachers are going to be lenient towards their students and develop a friendship bond, then students are going to take it for granted. But that's not true. When you become a mentor and you're lenient in a positive way, which is comforting for the student, that student remembers it beyond class. I myself remember so many of my teachers. Yes, we do remember the lessons we have learned in class, but most importantly, what I remember from my school and college days is that this teacher held me when I was upset that day and I was sitting alone that day. That teacher helped me when I was sad in class. This has happened with me as well. My teacher from class 7, I, being a very talkative person, as I mentioned in the first, she noticed me that I was sad that day. And this is how she managed to like cheer me up again. And this is exactly what we students remember. And this is also very important, because we would have to actually, there are many things in the classroom that might not seem so much familiar when we walk into the practical world, but such scenarios is what we remember every day and actually help us survive in the practical world. So this is very important, that because when you, our teacher is the only person after our parents who is not jealous of our success. We need
Yes.
to develop that bond with our teachers in a respectful yet in a friendly way, because that's how we can learn even more from them. So this is very necessary for teachers to explain as mentors more than coach.
Yes, I truly agree with you, Vanya. As a student counselor, I have learned a lot from case to case. Definitely. As a mentor, I have learned a lot, and I am being a lifelong learner. I still in a learning phase. I love to learn the people. Love to learn about the students, and the impact of the mentorship is actually not related to only the academic, but it also give a strong impact on their mental health as well,
Very
on
true.
the mental well-being as well, as a emotional support as well. So this is very important with respect to the whole growth, or we can say about it that a person or a student can grow by all means with respect to the mentorship and with the help of the mentorship. uh,
True.
this is not possible by the coach to grow, to nurture that student by character, by morals, by emotions, or by any kind of other support as well. So
Definitely.
when we are talking about the mental health and well-being, the biggest issue in our youth today, that how do you prioritize your own well-being and mental health while working towards your goal as a youth, not only in the field of academic, but as well as in the other areas as well?
The very first thing that I strongly emphasize is that life is a bridge. One day you will be up, one day you will be down, and it is very important for life to have that bumpy road. As well, we can be familiar with the ECG lines as well, that they have that bump, not they're not a straight line, and that's an indication of life going away. Second important thing that I believe is that ups and downs will come. You need to train your mind. You need to train yourself to be disciplined. And there are many people, such as if I talk about myself, I'm a very sensitive person, an extremely sensitive person, but I know for the fact that I can control my sensitive nature. I will not let what's going on in my mind and what's going on in my heart have an impact upon my routine and make it in a way that it causes indiscipline in my routine. The other thing that I believe is the power of tongue. There
Hmm.
will be hardships in life, but you need to start everything by saying, for example, you have a task and it seems difficult, but you need to start with it by saying that, yes, it is difficult, but I can do it. And when you are going to do this as a leader, you are going to spread the same aura and the same charisma in your community. And that's exactly what your other fellow members, your students, your family members are also going to see. What's more important is that as a leader, you are responsible for everything, for both the task to be completed, for making sure that your community is empowered, but most importantly, you are also responsible for their mental health being. Your leadership is not supposed to be a pressure or a hardship over them. And at the same time, their behavior and their activities should not be affecting your mental health. This is something very important. And lastly, which I would add in this mental health thing is that to celebrate the little wins of life. You
Yes.
should be waiting for big things to happen. You need to pat yourself every day and you need to celebrate your little wins as well as other little wins as well, especially when you're working in a team, because that's how collaboration and coordination occurs.
Yes. So for this small celebrations, I want to just get to know that can you share a moment when you felt that your actions made a real difference in the community or the world with respect to become an iconic personality or have created an example for the youth?
If I try to recall, so there was a time when I would say that it was like a project or like maybe an informal, I would say, task being occurred. So in that scenario, I had few group members who were like, they were like underconfident, and I would say that they had this thing that mostly they were labeled as that introvert who is not going to speak up or who's not going to look forward. So I came up with the offer to be friends with that person without the fact that I'm an extrovert, so I can't be friends with an introvert. And I gave them confidence that don't be scared of what the world says. Because no matter what you do, the world is going to come up with another label every other time. This is something very important that we recognize our own worth and we make friends together. And most importantly, we need to uplift them. We need to tell them, like, for example, if I have this thing that I'm great at giving presentations because I enjoy that charisma. I enjoy that point a lot. At the same time, I will always buck up my friends, and I have done this too. That you need to speak up to, you need to give the presentation to. Don't care about the stares in the audience. Let the people see. Go ahead, take this opportunity. This is something very important, and something that one of my very closest friends actually told me is that I was very upset, and that day you were the one who made me smile because of that conversation. And this is something that is very important because you need to be empathetic. Kindness is also the quiet form of leadership. And I think it is one of the strongest form of leadership that all leaders need to adopt.
Yes,
As
very true.
leadership isn't about titles, it's about responsibility.
Yes, very true. So, Vanya, I just want to ask one more thing about it, that when you used to work onto the projects, right? Sometimes you have to handle some setbacks, or sometimes you have to handle some
Yes,
failures, maybe
yes.
just because of your peers. uh, you had put a full effort, 100% thing, but just because of some of your peers in that group or group project, you have to face some kind of setbacks or failures. Then, how normally you handle that kind of situations?
Like I handle such type of situation is by firstly, most importantly, which many of the people tend to avoid is communicating. You need to come when you are in a team, regardless of the fact if they're your friends or they're just your classmates, you need to communicate together. You need to talk about the strengths, the weakness, just as we do in SWOT analysis. You need to discover, okay, this is the potential, this is the drawback. We need to work upon this. If communication doesn't fix this, the very first step, communication doesn't fix it, then you need to give some time. You need to give some space. Lastly, in even more adverse conditions, if that doesn't work either, so what's most important is that you should not stop putting effort. You should continue to put efforts with a good intention, because when there is a will, there is a way. Because eventually, as I said, what you give into the community, it's going to multiply in a positive way. So if you keep on putting hard work, it's going to spread that in your team members as well. And eventually that's going to bring a change in their behavior. Because if it's constantly going to be differences and arguments about you not working, or maybe you not putting that much effort or having a comparison, so that's not about teamwork. Teamwork is about everybody's equal, and you have to take everybody together. It's your responsibility as a leader to take everybody together and bring the best out of everybody. So that's
Yes,
how it goes.
and I just want to have some opinion from your side about the word control freak, or having a behavioral issue in youth of today's or Gen Z or today's generation, just because of these kind of impatient impacts from the failures and the setback. So the little issue becomes bigger just because of that behavioral issues, actually. uh, you are talking about that being a team lead or on a leadership position, you must be very compassionate, you must be empathetic, you must behave in a very balanced and positive manner. But what about the other peers in that group, or in that group project, or any kind of that collective effort? How you have to give some message, or how you have to handle all these things as a group lead or as a youth, if you are very settled in your emotions and to give reactions? So how can you communicate with the others who do not have or lacking these kind of issues or these kind of problems?
The very first thing, as I said, is when it comes about communication. So it's important to understand, because sometimes when people are showing a strange behavior, whether it's of arrogance, it's of ignorance, or even if it is about being irresponsible, it's probably because they are hiding something which they're not able to communicate. For example, I remember from one of my group projects in which one of the group members was behaving very irrationally. Turns out that she was actually severely scared about giving presentation because of her stage frightness. And when I communicated to her about that, and when I actually showed her and made her give her reassurance that I will help you, we all are going to help you, eventually she also accepted to contribute and give it a shot, and her behavior improved significantly. On the other hand, I would say that another reason why people behave is, and what we need to teach them, that life is not about shortcuts. If you will take a shortcut in the long run of journey, which is very beautiful, it's going to cut your way out. As we mentioned, and we were discussing about that, students want to have a shortcut, that okay, it should also be about grades. I don't want to work hard, and simply I want the grade. We need to make them understand that this might be possible over here, but in the next step of practical world, it's not going to be as easy, and you don't know if you're going to have the same familiar environment in which you feel comfortable right now. This is a realization that needs to be told to them. And lastly, most importantly, is keep working on your behavior. If the other person,
Mm.
this is important, that we need to deal with different audiences in different way, but if you work upon yourself, eventually the other person is going to react that way too.
Yes, very true. With respect to the behavioral control and to deal with the control freak or sometime some behavioral issues just because of some reasons behind it, that is very genuine. So we must
Yes.
understand as a group lead, and I'm very happy to listen about these things that youth know about this thing, that you have to go behind the scene and to get the reasons and to search that kind of reason of that particular behavioral issues, because I believe that these kind of behavioral issues normally is not the habit. It's just because of some reasons behind it. So if about it you want just want to ask one more question, that what one thing you wish more people should understand about the issues uh, facing by the youth, actually what you want to wish from the side of the adults, that they have to understand these things which you are facing as a youth.
One thing that I would really want the adults to understand towards the youth is that stop comparing the generational gap. We all will go through the same age, like our adults were 25, they have achieved something else. We at 25 have achieved something else, which is the best for our circumstances. Every year, every century, and in every generation, things are changing. For example, we have this very famous and very funny quote these days, is that we are still in university, but our parents at the age of 25, they had bought a house and they had all their assets sorted. This is a good thing to look forward and be inspired to learn from them, because definitely we should always seek their blessings and their experiences. But at the same time, this should not be taken upon as a pressure. Majority of the adults these days are showing these positive signs and behavior, but still in our community, there are some adults who continue to put pressure on youth. And when youth is not able to perform like they used to perform, then that youth is labeled as either someone who procrastinates, someone who is lazy, or someone who is indisciplined. But the truth is that about us, this youth is actually suffering from a long race which is just not ending. You are going to reach at one point, you'll turn out and see that there are hundreds of more competitors, and that too who are way ahead of the line. And this race concept is never going to stop, and it actually adds a lot of pressure. And this is what we really need from our adults. And most importantly, something that I think millennials slightly I would say that they find difficulty in it, is that Gen Z is very challenging and likes to experiment. So our elders who are millennials need to understand that not everybody is going to go towards the same generational pattern. Some youth, especially if they're your kids, they would like to challenge, they would like to experiment something new that could actually be very beneficial. So this is something that we all expect from our adults.
Yes, thank you so much for giving the message to the adults and to the teachers and to the parents as well. But here I just want to add one more point. from the side of the youth, because I am a big supporter of today's youth as a youth counselor, as a program director of Nurullah Falcons as well, that adults should not impose their dreams,
True.
unfulfilled dreams onto the
Definitely.
new generation, onto their children, onto their students, especially to their children's, because your dreams are not supposed to be fulfilled by your children. So this one thing I think you can say about it, and I am expecting from the adults, from the parents, from the teachers, but especially from the parents, then please do not impose your dreams. If you wanted to become a doctor, if you wanted to become an engineer or something else, but you don't know that maybe your child don't have the interest in that particular subject or in that particular area. So please do not impose your choices and your dreams onto your children. So I think
Definitely.
today's podcast is very interesting with respect to this message as well. And
Yes.
last, I just want to say, or want to have your comment, or want to have your message, that what one advice which you want to give to your younger self, just starting out on your leadership journey, because you are now actually about to start your leadership journey, inshallah, and you are
And
actually practicing it in your university, with the teachers and with your peers as well. But what is the thing you want to give as an advice to your younger self when you will be entered in the practical field, in a professional field, after just a couple of years? Then what one advice you want to give to your younger self?
I would say that be the person that you needed. Be the person that you needed and lead in a way that actually brings about a lot of positivity, lot of, I would say, kindness, and I would say, which creates a charisma of like happiness that people actually feel proud of having you as a leader. And as a leader, again, don't consider it as, I would say, an obsession with power only. Rather, lead in a way that actually serves for the betterment of people. There are many people, maybe I could be also in some scenarios when I would be looking forward, and there have been scenarios when I was finding a leader that who should be guiding us well, and I wasn't able to. So that's when I decided that when I become a leader, I'm going to be the leader that I wanted when I was younger. And this is what everybody should be having, and never forget the qualities of a leader, which comes with resilience, empathy, and I would constantly say kindness. Because everybody will, at one point, people will forget what you did, what you achieved in life, but people will never forget how you treated them. And if, as a leader, you treat them with kindness, it's going to go a long way, creating endless ripples. So, this is something that's very important, and I would definitely tell my younger self.
Thank you so much, Vanya. And I would love to see to become a leader in just a couple of years, inshallah Tala. And I suggest to all the youth and Gen Zs especially, and definitely the voices of tomorrow, that you must learn about the sustainable leadership. Because when we are talking about the SDGs, in which we are very much keen to implement all these goals in our life, in our world, to give better future to the coming generation. So we must learn as a leader, as a mentor, about the sustainable leadership. So thank you so much, Manya, for your time today. And it's really give a positive vibes always from your side. And I think not only youth will learn this thing, that how to produce and how to create a positive vibe, not because of your academics, but because of your personality, because of your characteristics, because of your charisma as well. And it need to develop actually. It do not come by birth. It
Yes.
actually need to develop how to create a positive environment around you, and how to present yourself in a very positive manner, and how to give a positive vibe to the society. So thank you so much, Vanya, for having your time, and see you inshallah in some other projects, as you already participated as a youth ambassador. So thank you so much, and
Thank you.
see you.
Love you.